morning, champions! Actually, it may not be morning where you are. It might be a totally different time for you because I have decided to do a totally different time for us. And I hope it's going to be convenient. I was really working through some stuff the last couple months. And then as I was getting ready for my life, if you will, at Date with Destiny, I was taking notes and I was doing things. And I went, you know what? I want the structure of my day to look like this. And as a result, 11 is born. Now, what's funny is I wanted it to be 11:10, and then I couldn't, on the graphic it doesn't say 11. I mean, like there's not enough room for 11:10. So, it'll be 11:10 in the future. Just keep that in mind. In January we're starting a new graphic to announce events. So that will have the room on there. Isn't it fun? Life is fun, you guys. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Fate with destiny. Yeah, you heard me right. The F, not the D. I just came out of Date with Destiny, the D, and it was a wonderful experience. I spent 6 days in our room with people who were wanting to grow and expand and change. And the 2 days before that, getting reinforcement in the leadership area. As a senior leader in Tony's world, I am honored to wear the orange shirt and help participants out. And as more and more leaders step up and join us so that we can end suffering in the world, we have these leadership events and we have that opportunity to get even more training. It's a beautiful system. And if you're not involved in it yet and you want to be, um, message me, tell me that you would like to know more about being in the Tony Robbins world. And I would be happy to share with you. Because when I had first heard of Tony, I really had no idea what he was about. I knew he was a guru, if you will. He had done a lot for a lot of people. And in fact, I had heard of him from my dad, but I hadn't gone to any kind of formalized training. I think there was maybe one event that my husband and I went to, and they had him on as a featured participant. It was online. And I liked what he said, but it didn't make me want to like go spend thousands of dollars to go to an event. And then, of course, when COVID happened, Dean got into his marketing, and I started listening to like when he brought Tony in for free, and they gave so much amazing information, and I was so excited. And then from there, it's been a whirlwind. I signed up for every event that Tony has, and to be completely honest, I had heard of Date with Destiny, had looked at what the price of it was, because it sounds amazing, right? Date with Destiny. And when I saw the price, I was like, there is no way I can do that. But during COVID, when we were all home and things had changed, it allowed me to watch it with my husband, with my friend from work. And when I saw the price divided by three, right, I was like, it's well worth it. And that's just for one class. And I'm going to get to do this, and I'm going to get to do this, and I'm going to get to do this. And that expanded and opened up my world. So that, my friends, is Date with Destiny. And now, because I have gone to Date with Destiny, I have served as a crew member at Date with Destiny. I have attended Date with Destiny in person and have served part time as a senior leader at Date with Destiny. This was my foray into the full time Date with Destiny, which is a huge, huge commitment. And because I'm blessed this year to be more of a free agent, my time is my own, I chose to put it into Date with Destiny. And there were people there that had never been to a Tony event. This was their first one. Boy, were they surprised. There were those that had been to, say, UPW, so Unleash the Power Within, and they were ready for the next step. And Date with Destiny is the next step in that horizon. It's amazing. It's an amazing experience. I highly, highly recommend it for everybody. I was blessed to see the transformation in our participants that came in thinking, they would have a small adjustment, and then just seeing them completely new people. I even coined a phrase that I'm now seeing myself as a butterfly farmer, meaning that I gather up these little caterpillars and I help them get into their, well, probably out of their cocoon more than anything, and into the beautiful butterfly that they are meant to be. And it was just a amazing, amazing experience. But I digress. You might not even know me. I am Coach Tina, and I have been running the Empowering Champions community since 2021, February of 2021, so almost 4 years now. This is a global community. It is for women who have desires in their hearts, and you're either killing it or you're holding back. So, those of us that hold back and keep ourselves from letting our greatness out into the world, I hear you and I'm here for you. And I want you to feel empowered and recharged to claim that identity that is really deep down inside of you, that's screaming to come out and be the best version of you. And I know it's possible. I have seen the transformation in myself as I have dug in and done deeper and deeper work year after year after year. And it only gets better. It only gets more exciting. It only gets more valuable. So I can't wait to share some of the insights I've had in what I'm calling today as fate with destiny. Now, fate and destiny, aren't they a lot alike? Somewhat. So fate is what might happen in the future. Okay, this is your fate. It might be that because you grew up in a certain area of the world, or you had a certain family unit, maybe you grew up with divorced parents, or you grew up in a poverty area. That is fate. And then there's destiny. Okay, so actually, I, I just told you the definition for destiny. It's what might happen. Fate is something that's destined to happen, or it's supposed to turn out in a certain way. And so fate is there, and there's not much you can do about it. It's fate. But then destiny is the thing that you can change. You can choose, and you can make decisions that rock your world. Okay? So we partner with destiny. And if you've been with me at all, you know that like one of my signature classes is From Procrastination to Destination. And it's all about going down that path, like going into the future that's compelling and beautiful and full of hope, that lights you up when you think about it. I want everyone to have a radiant future, and a place that they can seek out as the panacea of their life. Because when we have that compelling future, we make progress towards it. That's what builds happiness. That's what makes us feel alive. And I really, really want that for you. So, destiny rarely feels safe, but it feels aligned. This is that tension within you where you know, like you know, like you know. And yet, oh my goodness, there's just so much that you have to reach for to get there. And you do it anyway, right? Because you know that that's what you're meant to do. That's the direction you need to head in. You don't falter, and you just keep taking that step, even though you can't see that there's a foundation to stand on. And through faith, you do it again and again. And over time, you're amazed by how far you get. So, what connects fate and destiny? Well, interestingly enough, I like to think it's your identity. And the closer you can get to seeing yourself at the destiny that you want, and bringing that old self to the new destiny, like helper across the bridge, oh my goodness, that's when you're going to see the change start to happen. And I like to think that it's a heart process, that you can't get there by thinking it through and logic and checklists and plans and all of that. That helps, yes, but it has to come from the heart, and it has to be from such a level of believing that there really just isn't any question in your heart that you are doing the thing you need to be doing. So here's the thing, destiny is not a thunderbolt. Okay? It doesn't just hit you one day. It's this series of daily little tiny events that build and eventually build the thing that you're looking for. So Tony likes to call these 2 millimeter shifts. And they're so very important because, like at an event like Date with Destiny, right? You're at this event. We were there forever, you guys. We would start around 10 in the morning and we would go until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was cray cray. And yet, we just kept pushing, putting ourselves in that situation. And Tony was giving us nugget after nugget after nugget. Like if we had filled up baskets full of virtual nuggets, we wouldn't have been able to move. And I think sometimes people think that that's what they're supposed to do. They go to a Tony event and they have to do everything that Tony talks about. When the reality is, he's asking you to find a 2 millimeter shift that will work for you. It's not going to be the same for every single person because we all lead different lives. We all are on different trajectories. We're all doing different things. We have different outcomes that we're going towards. But if you can pick the 1 or 2, maybe 3 things that you are going to dedicate yourself to, that will change everything. That was a key distinction that I made. The 2 millimeter shifts, you really want that. The next thing. Oh, I loved this so much. I have heard Tony talk and talk and talk about how you need to divorce your story. But what I didn't catch was he's talking about disempowering stories. So have you ever been talking to someone, maybe even the same person tells you the same story over and over again? They're in a relationship and the relationship is sucky. And so every time you see them, they feel safe. They can tell you about their sucky relationship over and over and over. It depletes you of energy for sure, but it also doesn't solve anything. They just keep it going, the pattern, the repetition, the annoyance of it, because they're getting more and more frustrated as they tell it. It's a pattern that they've settled into. It's how they are relieving the pressure of what they're in, but not in a healthy way. And so what Tony says is this is just one key thing you can do. When you see yourself telling a disempowering story, shift yourself to tell a more powerful story. Now I heard that and I wrote it down and I was like, okay, that's great, Nugget, I can do that. Then I started recognizing every time I was doing a disempowering story, right? My reticular activating system kicked in and I went, oh, wow, how often am I doing this? And I'm pretty evolved, you guys. I have been doing this work for a while. I work on myself. I try things. And to realize that I'm still putting disempowering stories out into the mix. And the more I evaluated it, I started to realize that not only do I do that, but I make fun of myself a lot of times. I'll be the blunt of my own joke. And so when I'm seeing that, I am just like, oh my goodness, wow, I can't believe that this is happening to me. I'm so aware that I'm telling those disempowering stories now. And then I'm having to struggle to be like, okay, snap out of it. I no longer want that old story. Where's my empowering story? How can I shift this? How can I bring power to myself by what I'm saying? And I see, Claudia, this is resounding with you. That's fantastic. Thank you for watching. Anybody else that's watching, go ahead and put hashtag live in, or if you're catching us on the replay later, go ahead and put hashtag replay. Love having you here. Love having you watch the material, especially at the new time. Okay, so first thing was 2 millimeter shift. The second thing from Date with Destiny was taking those disempowering stories and replacing them with empowering stories, and overall having the awareness that you're even doing that to yourself. And the third one was just a beautiful experience I had with one of our participants who was, I'm going to say, well past his 80s, okay? And he showed up with so much drive. He was a working man. He was still working. He was trying to get his teachings out into the world. He was telling us about all these books he still had to write. At one point, he said, I've already taken 40 pages of notes. I mean, he was dedicated, you guys. And yet, his disempowering story was this was hard, and we were staying up so late, and this was not like his norm. And then you know, the thing is we're all living in this existence. We're all pushing ourselves. It totally reminded me of, like, I don't like to run. And when I run, it's been a while, but in my past, there would be times where I would just be like, okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop. I can't do this. And I would hit the wall, right? And then if you have someone alongside you that cheers you on, you can go a little bit further. You can maybe you won't make it all the way, but maybe you do, because you're not alone anymore. And we were that person for him. And he was just such a light. He he was grumpy at times, and then he would turn around, and by the end of the event, he was standing up and dancing, arms above his head, wiggling, enjoying life. And so here's the lesson. It's never too late. Okay? It was hard for him. There was no doubt. And he resisted, and he had old patterns, and he had a frame of his life that said, this is not what I need to do. And yet he learned. He transformed himself. He was willing to do the hard work and do the thing that pushed him over the edge so he could finish the race. And oh my gosh, I'm just so proud of him, but I'm proud of the persona that I hang out around that says nothing is too hard, that we are going to push and push and push until we find the solution we're looking for, till that desire in the heart, our greatness, is out into the world, because we know that that's what's supposed to happen. That, my friends, just, it lights me up, because I know those are truths. And, you know, if you're holding back, if you are struggling, then you need to figure out how you're going to get to the next level, how you're going to cross that bridge to your destiny. With all the obstacles and all of the stress happening, you're going to do it anyway, and you don't have to do it alone. You can reach out to me at any point. We have our community here, and life is just such a beautiful gift, right? Fate with destiny. And that's what I wanted to share today, because I am shifting, I am changing, I am looking at the world from a different lens than I have before. And I am gearing up to really revamp the way we do things in here in a very good way, in a way that everybody can benefit from all over the world. And I need your support. So if this is good for you, if this information is touching you in your heart, and you know that your destiny is going to be inspired, then see what you can do to drop me a testimonial or some positive feedback in here, so that we can start getting other people re-engaged in the community. That Facebook algorithm is a adversary, and I will continue to fight that adversary as long as there are people out there that want to go after their destiny with all of their heart. I won't leave you behind, and we will get through and get to that new life that we know is so possible to us. And I can't wait. I really can't wait, because you deserve it for sure. I know I'm ready for it. And hey, this is going to be the best 2026 ever. In fact, I am getting ready to offer our end of the year retreat, and it'll be before the end of the year. So it's not going to be next week, because that's Christmas week. We're going to start it on Monday. We're going to do a 3-day masterclass leading in to the end of the year. And then we will end on Friday, Saturday. I always like to do a Friday evening. We release everything from the old year. Things that went great, things that maybe not so much. Maybe they're no longer on our goals list for the next year. And we just let it go peacefully. And then we follow it up, wake up in the morning. It's a new day, almost the new year. and we write down all the things we want to accomplish in 2026. And we bring in all of the energy that's possible for us to meet those goals, that life, that destiny going forward. So if you're interested, put 2026 into the comments and I will make sure that you get the latest from us. Okay. Appreciate you. I'm going to talk to you next week before Christmas. If you're still working on your end of year goals, which you should be, we still have 16 days from today. So 2 weeks, even if you take off Christmas and New Year's. And what you'll be able to do is still get some stuff done. So don't give up. This is not the end of the year, like it's over already. No, no, no. You still have time. So use it wisely. Push yourself and really look back at those beginning of the year goals and be like, is there something on here that I would feel just immense satisfaction if I were to complete it before the end of 2025? Because remember, 2025 was our come alive in 2025 year. And so I want you to do the things that light you up and make you feel alive. So if you have questions, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great week.